Hey, this is Mark Washington from NTC Media. Hey, look, it is Thursday night, so I'm going to have my Thursday night picks. We always take a look at the props and the lines and stuff like that. So, uh, from BetMGM, we're going to start off with the most current line, and it's the Cowboys minus 6.5, over under 45.5. If you want the over, it's minus 110. You want the under, it's minus 110. Out of those two, I think the safest pick is probably the Cowboys minus 6.5, despite the fact that they're on the road. Um, I don't know what New Orleans will have for him with Taysom Hill being the starter and the problems they've had on the offensive line and no Kamara tonight. I mean, I could go on and on and on, which, even with the Cowboys and some of their injuries, as I'm flipping through what's the most current player props, um, you don't know who's playing tonight. And if you go to Dallas's official site, you see that there's not too many updates from yesterday. So it makes for a slim pickings, but we're going to start off with Dak Prescott over under on passing yards is 284.5. Taysom Hill over under on passing yards is 216.5. I don't know where they're coming up with the number with Hill being 216.5. I mean, it's almost like it's a sucker bet. Initially, you want to say there's no way that Hill will throw over 216 yards tonight, even though Dallas's defense isn't that great. But then you start second guessing yourself, like, but hold on a second. Why would they have that high? Do they want me to bet the under that much? So I wouldn't mess around with it. What I do like is I do like Prescott. Touchdowns are over. It's 1.5 touchdowns passing, and but it's a steep price. It's minus 225. Now, and if you think for some reason Dallas is going to run the ball in a lot, so on and so forth, because they do have injuries at wide receiver, and you're still waiting to hear which wide receivers will dress tonight and which ones won't, then maybe you take that under 1.5. It's plus 170. But with Dallas's offense and how they score and how much Dak throws, it's tough to take the under when it comes to Dak Prescott. As far as CD Lamb, it's his over under 64.5. Again, I don't know if he's 100% playing. If he plays, definitely I like the over in that. But the one that I like the most probably is Ezekiel Elliott, rushing plus receiving yards, 67.5. And I like the over in the 67.5 with Elliott rushing receiving against the Saints defense. If you look down to the Saints rushing receiver for Mark Ingram is 79.5. That all, again, I like the Ezekiel Elliott one. Even though you do have Ingram with 79.5 and you have Pollard with 65.5 rushing receiving yards combined. So again, to me, it's slim pickings just because you don't know what Dallas has. So if they are relatively healthy at wide receiver, and you're probably not going to find out until closer to game time, then that 284.5 for Prescott is in range. He could easily throw for 284.5. But if you come out there and then you get a late report that this wide receiver, and that we already know that Wilson's not playing, but let's just say Cooper and Lamb aren't playing or something like that, now that 284.5 just looks gigantic, which is kind of what stinks about tonight's game with no Kamara and no the guys that you would kind of gravitate to when you're looking at player props. Either they're not playing or you don't know if they're playing, or someone who plays an important part in whether they can get their benchmarks um, is playing. So, like I said, for me, it's the Ezekiel Elliott prop bet that I like the most. If you're willing to play around with the spread, and maybe this is the night that you do that because the whole player prop thing. Cowboys minus 3.5, and the over 40.5 is plus 145. So if you're looking for a prop to mess around with the lines, that might be one to look at. If you think the Cowboys are going to win this by more than a field goal, um, on the other side, if you think that I wouldn't do this, but there is a prop bet that says the Cowboys plus 3.5 and the under 40.5, and that's plus 110. I just don't see how this game is under 40.5 considering the opponents. But if you want to tune that up more, Cowboys minus 3.5 plus the over 45.5 is a plus 200. So again, that might be where you want to go tonight, is kind of messing around with the lines and trying to get creative. Um, Cowboys in the over 31.5 is minus 165. That's a money line. Total points prop tonight. You have the Cowboys in over 30.5. That's minus 185. Um, that's what their total points. So you got to take a look at that. You think the Cowboys going to exceed 30.5 points and win? You have that minus 185. If you don't think that they will, well, yeah, if you don't think they will exceed it, then there's the under, and the Cowboys and under 30.5 is plus 700. So you got to take a look at these things, mess around with these things to really, really get a good bet tonight if you're looking at props. But I had to tape this a little bit early. I would like to come on a little bit closer to game time, because all of the uncertainty behind the Cowboys injury report. Again, you might want to look at the first half bet. Dallas is minus 3.5 for the first half. That's a minus 110. That's another bet that I would actually consider. And then, of course, you always have the touchdown ones. Ezekiel Elliott, anytime is minus 120. CeeDee Lamb, anytime is plus 145. Taysom Hill, if you think, hey, he'll find a way to get into the end zone, he is plus 175 anytime. Mark Ingram, anytime, is plus 120. And Tony Pollard, that might be one you want to look at. First touchdown, plus 1,200. Anytime, plus 230. Last touchdown, plus 1,400. Those are some pretty good odds. If I were to take that, I would take the anytime bet, which is plus 230. And then, of course, you have stuff like Tony Pollard to score and the Cowboys win, plus 250. Ezekiel Elliott to score and the Cowboys win, that's minus 105. Ingram to score and the Saints win, that's plus 310 if you think the Saints are going to win tonight. So on and so forth. And so, again, we look at all the lines through BetMGM. Those are the lines tonight. Again, the one that I like, and this would be the only one probably that I would take a look at, was the Ezekiel Elliott rushing and receiving, and it's 67.5, and I like the over in that. So again, keep checking this until game time, especially once the injury report officially comes out for some of the guys who are game time tonight, and enjoy your Thursday night football. This is Mark Washington.